show to give people. Yeah, it says 60% over the last 2 minutes. That's not good, dude. That is not good. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Let's move on with some sponsors. Of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you guys own a business, go check them out. They are going to be able to help you plan for emergencies, and you are going to need them. They're going to save you a ton of money. I promise. Go check them out today. That's anthemplanning.com. Anthem Planning today. And, of course, new executive producers of the show, Colwell Creative Content. Check them out today. They specialize. I got a way better bullet point list today to talk about them. So I'm not just flying from the hip like I have been. They specialize in SEO to help your site rank well on Google or other search engines, website design, optimized website content writing, optimized blog posts, copywriting, social media content management, newsletter writing and design, ghostwriting and editing services, resume and cover letter writing. They work with all kinds of clients, including real estate agents, addiction treatment, mental health, healthcare, banking and payment processing. And they've worked with just about every industry, even libertarian political candidates and influencers such as Larry Sharp. And they've been in business since 2012. They've worked with hundreds of clients. I promise you, if you're trying to get in front of your target audience, you hitting them up is only going to help you a ton. It's probably going to save you money in the long run. So go check them out today, Colwell Creative Content. See what they can do for you. Guys, we've got a great show for you tonight. I'm very excited. Listen, the last 2 years have been absolutely insane for us. It's been over 2 years now. March of 2020. Ryan's over there on his computer, just not even paying attention at all.
I was updating the chat about the buffering.
Okay, well, it looks like it's stopped, but I am recording the stream this time.
I told them.
Yeah, so we should be okay. So the last almost 3 years now have been absolutely insane. A lot of shit has got lost in the mix because just so much shit was coming out constantly. Terrible ass shit, locked in your homes, people losing their jobs, forced to take this shit. But one of those stories that we heard a lot about, and then it just seemed to fucking disappear.
I wonder why.
Was this story, this crazy ass story of these crazy right wing extremists that came together to capture and kidnap the governor of Michigan.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty based if that's what they actually
in Minecraft.
did.
It would be based in Minecraft.
It would be based in Minecraft.
No, so it's one of those stories that just gets completely lost in the mix. But it was something that I paid a lot of attention to because I've had friends. I'm not going to name names on here, but I've had friends literally get caught in honeypots and go to jail for all kinds of weird shit, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like they were working with a group of people, and then come to find out the whole group of people were FBI agents, and it was just him by himself. That's a true story. Well, there was two of them. So that's a true story that actually happened to somebody that I know. They're sitting in jail right now dealing with that. But this was one of those stories where it was like, wow, that seems really far-fetched. It really sounds like the government probably had a hand in this. And so I was perusing Twitter, and I saw a gentleman that was talking about how he had just been acquitted of these charges and was a part of that scheme or whatever you want to call it. Let me get my desktop audio on here for him. And his name is Ryan. Dude, his name is Brandon Caserta. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, I can't complain. We may be doubling the audio right now. We may have to turn our monitors off. I thought we did turn our monitors off. Just give me 1 second here, Brandon. I swear I know what I'm doing, but I do have issues every once in a while because I'm a weirdo like that. Give me one
It's all good. I'm patient.
Here we go. Monitors are off. Okay, now you can hear us. We can't hear ourselves, which is good because it's not doubling. But man, so you really went through this crazy thing. I mean, it was I thought it was like a group of like 6 people. I don't remember exactly what it was. Why don't you kind of give us your angle, what from start to finish, prior to being arrested and dealing with jail and court and all that stuff. What was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, what wound up happening with me is I just legit got framed by the FBI. You had the whole COVID thing happening, half of America's on fire. And I've already been training with firearms for a couple of years. So, but I never really had anyone that I associated with be into it as much as me, and being an anarchist, libertarian, whatever, I didn't know a whole lot of people like that, that believed in that philosophy, that really cared about freedom. So when I'm seeing these things going on in our society, I'm a single guy working at a machine shop. I got my own place, but I don't have like a solid group around me. My family's moved out of state. So I'm like, dude, I need to figure out a way to kind of get together with some folks in case shit gets, cracks down really hard. State doing mandatory vaccines, setting cities on fire, whatever. I kind of need to associate with some people who train as well, and that's kind of how I got linked up with these guys.
Wow, that's wild, man. So it's another one of those cases where, for sure, I mean, there was people involved in this plot that were absolute FBI agents. And I mean, did you ever have any kind of contact with them whatsoever, like in person when that was going on? Had they infiltrated this group of trainers, of people training?
So here's the thing with that, brother. Like, the FBI agents were the ones training us,
Yes. Fucking, of course they were.
Classic three-letter agency.
CIA was the one training the Taliban, man. I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Like the main informant in this case was training me, in how to run CQB and shoot houses and, shoot from cover and concealment and all this, very active stuff. I kind of knew how to do before, but just, he helped me hone my skills. But yeah, I mean, every training event or anything, any scenario like that wound up always being orchestrated by the government. But look, when I first met these guys, I was in like another private Facebook group that wasn't even associated with these guys. And one of them kind of hit me up and was like, hey, man, I got some property. He was like an hour away. Like, dude, you tell me you got some property, you got some hanging steel targets, and you want to shoot guns? Hell yeah, dude.
I'm coming. Time.
Right. I'm definitely coming over, bro. So, I went over there, and what I didn't know is I literally walked right into a terrorist enterprise investigation that had already been going on, and I didn't know it.
I just wanted you to know that we could still hear you, but we're dropping a bunch of frames, so I'm hoping that if I turn my camera off to you, that it looks normal on this side, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. So you could still hear us, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we had a problem. We actually dropped a whole stream last time we had a guest on from like virtually. So I don't know why, but I did drop it. Hopefully it's better. So Ryan, I mean, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, I want to get into the story of the litigation and jail time and all that stuff too. But I mean, do you have anything that you're wondering about there, bud?
No.
Are you even paying attention?
No, all the questions that like popped up, he went on and answered like as he elaborated.
Sure. So tell me what this looks like after you get arrested. I mean, you get arrested, and then what happens?
Yeah, I mean, I get arrested. They take me into the little booking room or whatever, and they're trying to interrogate me. You know what I mean? And the whole time, dude, they were just trying to get me to cooperate with them. Yeah. They kept asking me, they kept saying, hey man, we just want you to play ball with us. Hey, the other guys, they're saying that you are down with this, that you wanted to do this and all this stuff. But like when they brought me in there, I'm like, what am I here for? Right. I didn't know, because I was literally like kidnapped by a bunch of plainclothes guys who never said where they were from. I was just thrown into an unmarked car, you know what I'm saying, and taken to some station or whatever. So I'm like, what is going on?
They literally fucking black bagged you, bro?
Yeah, bro, for real. The only thing they didn't do was put a black bag over my head. That's it.
Holy shit, dude.
But they lured me I was lured into a room by a coworker, right? Into a black room with the lights off. And I looked around, I was like, what's going on? Then the lights flick on. And they're like, get out on the ground now, get the fuck down.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And they just tackle me, start taking shit out of my pockets, you know what I'm saying? Cuff me up, take my shoes off. And then, they take me outside and they bring me up to this guy who's like in this dark suit. He's got jet black, slick back hair. He's like, what's your name? I'm like, my name's Brandon. He's like, yep, this is him. Throw him in the back. They just threw me in the back of this fucking unmarked car. And then they bring me in and I'm like, what am I here for, dude? They're like, you're being charged with conspiracy to kidnap the governor of Michigan.
Holy
and I was
fuck.
like, what? And they were like, yup. And I was like, for what? Like, why would I do that? Like, for what reason? And they're like, well, that's what we're here for. Why don't you tell us? Just get on the bus, man. Just hop on the bus. And I'm like, the bus to go where? To jail? I'm gonna get on the bus, bro. They just kept telling me to ride this bus with them, bro. And I'm not about riding buses with motherfuckers I don't know. So
you get arrested. They eventually get you on this bus, I'm guessing.
No. I never got on the bus with them. They just actually took me to another jail in a car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
on the bus, meaning like they wanted me to cooperate with them. You know?
Of course. Yeah. That's a federal case, because that's going to become a federal case at that point. I mean, and I'm guessing, did they tell you it was like a conspiracy charge? I mean, that's what they said to you.
Yeah. They told me it was a conspiracy charge and everything like that. They questioned me for maybe like 45 minutes.
So does anybody have? You might want to pull this up if you get a chance, Ryan. But the amount of federal cases that actually go to trial is so fucking slim because they're so overbearing. Even if you didn't do it, they're like, okay, well, you can go to trial. And when you get convicted after trial, because let's face it, federal courts drag you through the fucking mud. Look at people like, Snowden, what Snowden will go through, Julian Assange.
Jeffrey, yep. Oh.
Well, that's a whole different story. And then of course Ross Ulbricht famously was thrown under the jail for 2 life sentences for creating a fucking website. Right? Federal court is not good in trial; they're very bad to you.
Yes.
And so that people go to federal court knowing, hey, this is going to be bad on me. I'm going to get fucked. I'll take the plea bargain. And they're just so used to getting plea bargains that they're like, just work with us here. Just work with us. Because you're going to take the plea bargain anyways. Yeah. Right. So I think it's something like 95% or something like that of federal cases take the plea.
And I think just cases in general, like the majority take plea bargains.
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm. Of course. That's how it's got to be, dude. But yeah, I mean, that most cases do, but federal court has like a much higher percentage because people know, like, oh shit, I'm going to get a federal charge here. I'm going to go to like federal prison for a long time. So a lot of people do that, and that's kind of what they do. And so you were not willing to take any plea bargain, huh?
No, absolutely not. They offered me a deal like 3 times too.
Of course, because they don't want to go to trial. They don't want to go to trial. So did you you ended up going to trial?
Yeah, absolutely. I sat through a whole trial for like a month.
And how long were you in jail for?
I was in jail total like 19 months, 18 or 19 months. Right?
Holy shit, dude. And before your trial started?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Once I was acquitted, I literally walked out the door and was free.
That's fucking insane, dude. So give us a heads up. I mean, how did this trial work out with you? I mean, what start to finish? I mean, really, what was it like? How many times were you in the courtroom? All that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we had a few, we were all on separation details. So like none of us could interact with each other like all the co-defendants. So, but, luckily I was able to kind of finesse something with the COs where I was able to get across from one of my co-defendants so we could kind of communicate a little bit for a few months. Once we actually like went to trial, they picked us all up and shipped us out to Kent County and put us all in the same unit in the same cell by ourselves, segregated from everyone else. But, we had a few hearings where we all kind of had to go to court and make some arguments to kind of, say, hey, we think this evidence should be able to be brought into court and, the judge would rule on that. Or, hey, we don't think the government should be allowed to, put this in because it's not germane to the case and blah, blah, blah. So I say we went there probably maybe 3, maybe 4 times or something like that. And then, once trial started, we went to Kent County and then the courthouse back and forth every day, 5 days a week.
It's almost like unbelievable that you could go through that 19 months in jail, going to court for something that you didn't do at all.
And And then after all of that, they're just like, "Yep, you didn't do it. All right,
Good luck.
bye.
See you later. I mean,
we just took away 2 years of your life."
did they offer you any, I mean, is there any kind of restitution for the 19 months that you spent in jail? I mean, what did they give you anything when you got out?
No, man. They were pissed that I won. You know, they were like, dude, we need that body in that cage, bro. Like this, I exposed their corruption. You know what I mean? By fighting against them. And yeah, they haven't offered, they're not giving me shit, bro. Like I have to build my life back up all on my own. You know what I mean? And certain people in society, they're judgmental, bro. Like even though I was acquitted, and dude, I didn't do this crime that they're trying to say I did. People still treat me differently, like
Right.
it's hard to get a job. It's hard. Like some neighbors won't even associate with other people in the neighborhood because they associate with me. It's like crazy shit like that where the society has been so polarized where if they perceive you, like they perceive me to be a right winger. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like they perceive me to be a certain type of person and that's against what they are. So even though they don't know me, they don't know anything about me, they just believe what the TV tells them, they're going to disassociate with me. They're going to talk behind my back and whatever. But I'm just now kind of starting to try to build things back up a little bit. Luckily, I got all my guns back. All the property that they stole, I got that back like a month and a half after I got acquitted. Thank God, Mike Hills, man, he was a badass attorney.
That's crazy. So I mean, how did the case go? I mean, what did the state try to prove? How did they try to prove it? And I mean, how did your defense fight it?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So, there was a lot of ups and downs in this case. Like from the get-go, the judge suppressed a massive amount of information. Like there should have been statements that these agents made and these informants, those statements should have came in and they were totally forbidden to ever come into court at all. And those were statements that helped us. There were certain recordings that the FBI made. All of these things the judge prevented, the behaviors of the agents weren't allowed to come into court. You had Richard Trask, who, is going to swingers parties with his wife, right?
Jesus, yeah.
And then coming home and bashing her skull up against a nightstand and damn near killing her and strangling her half to death, wasted, and then drives away, wasted ass drunk, gets caught by some state boys. They pick him up, throw him in jail. Now he's charged. He gets fired from the FBI. So this guy's a freaking psycho. Then you have Henrik Impola, who just lies on the stand all the time and who said a bunch of incriminating statements while he's talking to other informants on the audio recordings. The judge says, oh no, that can't come in. Then you got Jason Chambers, who has all these guys have these little side hustles. Richard Trask had his own little business of calisthenics or working out or something like that. Jason Chambers, who was the lead case agent, had a side hustle, an intelligence gathering apparatus essentially called Exa Intel, which had this super crazy dark occult symbolism, a pyramid with an eye in the center, and then it had a Latin saying which said Quem scies, which means the one who knows all or all knowing.
Oh gee.
The devil, like weird dark shit like that. And we found evidence of a Twitter account connected to his company, Exa Intel, that's literally on Twitter saying, hey, Michigan, guess what? Something big's coming up. I'm telling you. And then the day we get arrested, they're like, yep, see, I told you something was coming. So he's tweeting about a case that he's involved in while he's pitching, ideas to other companies and corporations to say, hey, man, I can spy on your neighbors. I can spy on all your employees. If you throw an event and you want to know who has a CPL license, who, what their political ideology is, what they post on Facebook, you can pay me money and I'll find out, I'll collect all that data for you and give it to you. And you got to give me hundreds of thousands of dollars. We found so much information and proof that he planned on leaving the FBI after he was done creating this case because it would be his biggest case ever. And then he was going to go into intel into the private sector and essentially be a multimillionaire with, the fake case he just created. And, there's obviously a financial incentive to fabricate a fake conspiracy if you're engaged in private practice like that and side hustle. But, the judge said, no, that actually is totally irrelevant to the case. And he wouldn't let shit like that come in. So to kind of slow down a little bit, there was just an ongoing struggle to try to provide a jury with real context on what was going on, because the government was trying to suppress so much information and only leave a very tiny little amount without any context. Sure. And just say, oh, well, what he said was offensive. He's anti-government. Look at the books that he reads. He says he's an anarchist, so you should just convict him.
That's just, it's crazy, dude. Like, there's some parallels here to like the Ross Ulbricht case, right? I don't know if you're familiar with that at all. The Ross Ulbricht.
Not terribly familiar with the Ross Ulbricht case. I know the judge specifically came out and said, we're trying to make an example here.
Well, it wasn't just that. The judge came out and said, basically took the whole defense away from the defense and said they couldn't talk about all kinds of different things that would have exonerated him immediately. They paraded him around in public, much like they did to Brandon here, as a this right wing crazy person that was trying to kidnap a governor.
They paraded him publicly
as a murder for hire charge.
Yeah, and just as guilty. They
not just guilty. They paraded him
everything to the media that this guy's an extremist and he's guilty.
So what they had him on, what they really had this guy on, the only thing they had on him was he got caught with a bunch of fake IDs. Okay. That's the only thing they had Ross on at all. Mm-hmm. Other than that, what they did was in the public media, they said, oh, he was creating murder for hire. He was running the biggest drug underground railroad, basically, for drugs ever of all time. All this other shit, right? And then when he got to court, they didn't even charge him with the murder for hire stuff. But they paraded him around in the media as this guy who tried to have two people murdered, for hire. And then they didn't even litigate that. They didn't even adjudicate those issues at all. And then when the defense comes in, the defense is like, "Oh yeah, well here's this. Listen, these cops stole money and did this, and they were this and that and this and that," and they weren't allowed to talk about that. The defense just straight up told the defense they couldn't bring those things up. Okay, and that's what they do in federal court. They stifle any kind of defense you can mount if you go to trial, and that's why people take the plea bargain. But there's a lot of parallels here. They did something very similar to Brandon here, saying, oh, yeah, you guys can't talk about this, can't talk about that, you can't bring this up. And it's just wild, dude.
Were the things that they were specifically trying to, stifle, were they more things about the character of the FBI agents where, they have this side hustle or, they beat the shit out of their wife? Things like that, because in regular court those would be character attacks and generally not admissible as evidence.
Yeah, so you're right about that. Some of that stuff was kind of character stuff, which they said wasn't germane to the case. But we, around Christmas time of 2021, we filed a very extensive motion that we said, hey, look, we want to put 200 these. Check it out. We found 260 statements that show that the government fabricated this entire thing. And hey, judge, you need to acquit these guys because it's obvious the FBI created this entire thing, right? Well, that right there should have been stuff that should have came in because these are agent statements. We found text messages between the FBI agents and their handlers literally telling them stuff like, yo, the mission is the governor to kill the governor specifically. I want you to go pick this person up and that person and see if they want to go here. Matter of fact, just lie to them and tell them they're going to go somewhere else. And then by the time you get them there, it doesn't matter anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So what, did they give you grounds on why they wouldn't admit those statements?
Well, some stuff the judge said, the agent's statements and things like that, if the defense laid a proper foundation, they could, I guess, attempt to bring some of that stuff up. So we wound up getting quite a bit of things in,
Mm-hmm.
which we got pretty lucky. We wound up being able to get more than what we thought we were going to be able to get in. So that, that was a plus for us. But I guess my point in saying some of that stuff was just there's so much data and, statements and things like that that weren't allowed in court, that could have actually provided real context to what was actually going on. If you say like, I'm not down with kidnapping, you can't like bring that in to federal court. Like, you would have to take the stand and do all this stuff, to even get things like that into court. So it's just really difficult to defend yourself,
Okay. That's interesting, that like conversations where you said like, I'm not down with kidnapping, that wouldn't be admissible.
Yeah, you know what they were calling it? They were calling it hearsay. They said that's inadmissible under the hearsay rule. So like a recording from an FBI agent, he's recording, like, it's not like hearsay because you can listen to them say it.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't think that would fall under hearsay, because normally that's like, isn't hearsay like typically someone else's like account of what happened, like a second or third party, or like it's more speculation rather than, a recording or a text message of you directly saying, hey, I'm not down with kidnapping the governor.
Right. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's like what I learned is that there's a real definition of hearsay in the world, like Webster's dictionary, and then there's a government definition of hearsay in legality. So pretty much whatever we say that's incriminating isn't hearsay, even if there's no recording of it. But anything that the government records, they can choose to play whatever they want in any type of order or context. But if we try to use those same recordings, like let's say someone says blah, 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 and then we want to say, hey, well, right after that, they say this, we want to bring that in, that can be considered hearsay. So it can't come in unless you lay a certain type of foundation and all that stuff. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's odd that the same, like different parts of the same recording would differ in whether or not they're able to be admitted.
Right. Yeah, you would think that like if the government, acquires all of this evidence through audio recordings, that all of it should be admissible.
Yeah, and it's very strange to me that it wouldn't be admissible, because usually they want to bring in all the evidence they can. But I've also seen, especially federal agents, I mean, they're really big on suppressing all kinds of evidence. I mean, that's what they want to win the case, right? And especially the prosecution. Prosecution always wants to win the case, no matter whether they think they're right or not.
Yeah,
it's like a game to them, dude. They just want to win. That's it. And I just want to let you guys know that I know that the stream is not doing very well tonight. And I'm very sorry about that. I'm not sure why. I think
it's just straight up down at this point.
Yeah, and we're still recording, so we'll keep the show going and record it, and I'll upload it later if I have to make sure that it gets uploaded. I don't know why the stream's been doing that lately.
I don't either.
It seems to be worse when we have a virtual guest.
Yeah, and I think there's a storm going on right now, and I think that can affect things.
Is there a storm going on?
I've heard some thunder, but
did you? I don't fucking know. Anyway, so okay, so we've been going about 35 minutes. We still got about 25 minutes left to show, but I want to know, like, so you get acquitted. Essentially, they're like, sorry, man, you didn't do this. Good luck. But you weren't the only one on trial here, right?
Correct.
And how many people went on trial for this?
Yeah, so there was 6 of us that were charged federally, and 2 of them wound up becoming government informers or cooperators. And then ultimately at the end, there wound up being 4 of us who went to the first trial And then 2 of us off the first trial got acquitted, which was myself and Dan Harris. And then, Adam, Fox, and Barry Croft went and had their, second retrial because there was a hung jury on them. And unfortunately, they were convicted on the second trial of all the charges.
So they're convicted.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude. I mean, was their trial much different than yours? I mean, did they have more evidence?
Well, usually, like, if the government gets a hung jury, usually it's more difficult for them to secure a conviction. If they don't get it the first time, usually they don't get it again, But unfortunately, the way the law is set up, they give them, as many chances as they want to just find the right jury to convict whoever they want to convict. It's pure evil. I think, hey, if the government cannot prove the first time, it's over with. Like, there's your doubt right there. There's your beyond a reasonable doubt. Sure. If you can't get people to agree, then it's done, But there was a massive amount of interference, man, even more that was ran by the courts and the prosecution. Essentially, you have like a federal judge who's appointed for life and has no boss, controlling the dynamic of a trial and allowing the prosecution to do one thing and completely preventing, the defense from doing another. Like, if you say, hey, prosecution, you can go as long as you want and bring up whatever you want. And then you say, hey, defense, you guys only have 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You can't get down to the truth.
I agree.
They did.
I agree. It's so mind-boggling to me that this is how it works in federal court. It's just so much different than like the state court, right?
Yeah.
I mean, have you been paying attention to the Alex Jones trial at all?
Here and there, man. I definitely catch the highlights of that, but not as much as I probably should have been paying attention.
I've been paying attention a little bit, and Michael Malice had a lawyer on You're Welcome that really went into detail about a lot of it, and essentially, I think that's at the state level, but essentially the same thing has been happening.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case is out of Connecticut.
Yeah, and the judge basically has all but said, "I want him to be convicted. I want the jury to rule against Jones."
Well, Alex Jones has been convicted in the eye of public opinion long before this trial ever started.
Yeah.
And that's something that Brandon's dealing with now.
Mm-hmm.
Is even though there was no conviction, even though he spent 19 months in prison for no reason whatsoever, he hasn't gotten I'm sure they haven't come out and said, hey, we're going to make a public apology and let everyone know that you weren't guilty. I'm sure they didn't do anything like that, right, Brandon?
No, absolutely not. Matter of fact, the governor of Michigan and the president, Joe Biden, continue to call me a white supremacist and a terrorist.
Well, of course, because they fucked up, dragged you through court for 19 months, and now they have to and now they have to save some face, and the only way to save that face is to say, okay, well, maybe he didn't form a plot and a conspiracy to kidnap the governor, but he is still a white nationalist, racist, extremist. They're going to throw all those labels at you, just like they do to all of us. I mean, I'm a family man raising 6 kids. I go to work every day. I support my family. I don't go out and burn crosses. I don't go out and wear hoods. I don't do any of that shit. And there's papers on the East Coast calling me a white nationalist right now and an extremist and this and that and this and that. And it's like, dude, I'm the vice chair of the Libertarian Party, okay?
As everyone knows, it's a white nationalist party, clearly.
Yeah, nothing says white nationalism like, hey, everyone should have freedom regardless of race, color, creed, sexual orientation. Yeah, totally the racist. Those guys are the racists. Not the ones that have hinged their entire fucking political philosophy off of the color of people's skin, like the Democrats, okay? Or what's between their legs. Okay.
Right.
Not those guys. And definitely not the Republicans who continue to bomb the Middle East. Definitely not those guys. It's definitely the libertarians. They're the ones without that freedom shit, that extremist freedom shit. They're the racists. They're the Nazis. Totally. Absolutely.
Makes perfect sense.
They have to, socially demonize us because, ultimately, as far as freedom is concerned, people like us are going to be the ones to fight against tyranny.
Absolutely.
And preserve freedom. So if they can make us look, like demons in the public eye, then no one will listen to our beliefs. No one will listen to what we have to say, because all we got to do is get someone to sit down with us, and be like, hey man, listen, check it out, bro. Non-aggression principle. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the state has this, monopoly on violence, and look, it's not okay to initiate violence against someone and force them to pay for things that you want, and I know you think that you're not doing that when you go vote, but listen, like, in certain ways, when you want certain policies to happen, that's actually what's happening to people, and that ultimately, equates to slavery and all that stuff. If we lay that out for people are gonna be like, oh my God, dude, like, we have to change something. I mean, I know that's what I thought when I woke up, but the Republicans and the Democrats ain't doing any of that. They're playing off on the inequalities of what's happening. They're playing off on the race card, on division and polarization, so we're really the biggest threat to the tyrants, because we're the people that are actually armed with actual real truth that can expose, these people in these higher echelons of power.
Yeah. And it's wild just how kind of far, like, they'll go to demonize everyday people. Like, you have the president of the United States talking shit about you, which is that's just wild. And the fact that two of the people got convicted makes it so easy for them to just lump all you guys into the same category, because just because you were associated with these people, like the people that got convicted, just by associating with them, you're automatically guilty in their eyes.
Well, yeah, and that's absolutely the truth. I mean, these people, they're so collectivist in thought, dude, that they can't see someone being friends with somebody that does something that they don't like without thinking that friend is exactly what that other person is. This is the problem with collectivist mindset and the collectivist thinking and the way society has been structured and democracy. And I mean, it's literally, it all boils down to the same shit. It's all the central planning and collectivism are an absolute fucking cancer, to the point that it will demonize people who had nothing to do with the thing that you hate for just for even simply knowing somebody else's name, dude.
Yeah. And it's such a dumb philosophy too. One of my best friends is a leftist.
Dude, I'm from Oakland, California.
Yeah,
everyone
you associate
the majority
with
of my friends growing up are leftists, and I'm still friends with them, dude. Yeah. And I tell them quite frequently how fucking stupid they are. I can't believe you're really still voting for that fucking party after the medical and corporate fascism that you just saw coming from them over the last 2 years. The fact that they forced you to abuse your children with masks and untested drugs. You think that that's the party you should continue to vote for? You think that they're the ones that are going to give you free college and free healthcare? No, they're not. Fuck, they are. You know what I mean? It blows my mind, man. The whole thing is disgusting. And just to let you guys know, we are still streaming somewhere. It did cut the stream and then started the stream back up, and it's now been live for 15 minutes. And it does have one viewer. So I don't know where it's streaming to, but we are recording still. So we have about 40 minutes worth of recording that we'll definitely put out audio, and I'll re-upload to YouTube tomorrow. But man, so what's next for you, man? I mean, what are you looking at now? I mean, what's besides just trying to get on shows and get the word out? I mean, what do you want to see happen, man?
I don't know. I mean, I want to see, I mean, you kind of already said it. What I want to see is I want to see my life, back to the way it was, if not better. I got to be able to pivot out of the situation and create a situation for myself that was better than when I left off. You know what I mean? And as far as, litigation and stuff like that. I mean, there's definitely avenues that I'm looking into. They, I feel, at least for the time that I was incarcerated, I lost out on tens of thousands of dollars. Like, I made good money. You know what I mean? At my job that I was working at. So
you got to fucking sue these people. I mean, you got to come up with some kind of case against the federal court and the prosecutor, and you got to name these fucking people by name in that litigation, dude. And they got to be fucking dragged through the mud publicly. And that's the only thing that these people pay attention to, right? Their fucking reputations and their money, and that's it, dude. So if you find a person, a lawyer that's willing to file that case and name people by fucking name, dude. I mean, literally put everybody, the judge, the prosecutors, the investigators, the FBI agents, all of their names need to be included in some kind of suit here. And you know what? It doesn't look, money would be fucking nice, dude. I'm sure. Like, you deserve a lot of money, dude. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, the state deserves to give you every single dollar in tax money you've ever paid back. Right. I mean, plus with interest, you know what I mean? And this is the kind of reparations I'm for. Okay. Yeah. I believe in reparations to people who have been fucked over by the state that are still living. Absolutely, dude. You need to name names, dude. You need to find a lawyer. I'm sure I got plenty of lawyers that watch the show. Plenty of lawyers. If there's a lawyer out there that's willing to help write that case up, man, do it. Fucking hit me up. Let's get a hold of Brandon and take these motherfuckers to the woodshed, dude. That's what I would do.
And listen, bro, let's do it. Cause I'm already trying to do that. But look, brother, like, my network, it ain't really that good. I don't know a lot of people in the freedom community. I kind of figured all this shit out on my own. Right. So right now, hell yeah, bro, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to network with people. That's part of the reason why I'm trying to talk to people and get on more shows and get the word out. Maybe I can make some connections, and, eventually I want my own kind of show, you know what I'm saying? But, I want to be able to find that badass attorney that isn't scared of the state. You know what I mean? I want to be able to find that guy to look at my case and be like, yeah, dude, this was totally unjust. Let's go kick their fucking ass.
I know Tyler Yonke is watching the show right now. He's a California lawyer. He specializes mostly in family law, which is the reason why we talk a lot, because that's the court that I hate.
Yes.
The only court I hate more than the
family
federal
court
law.
is just fucked up beyond belief.
Oh, dude, you don't get me started, bro. I've been
I don't even know the half of it.
I've been working with them for 10 years. It's such a fucking, it's the most corrupt, it's the only court in this country that is more corrupt than the federal court, dude. Absolutely, 100%. They own your children, and they will use your children to create revenue for themselves and criminalize you to the point of destitution. It's fucked up, dude. But so there's lawyers that watch the show. There's lawyers that listen to the show. Hit me up, man. I have an email address that anybody that listens to the show can get a hold of me at joshua.breakthecycle@gmail.com. Email me, man. If you want to get on the show, email me. You want to talk about Brandon's case, you want to help Brandon out, email me. Let's do it, dude. Fucking take these motherfuckers to the woodshed, dude. I'm tired of these fucking parasite federal agents getting involved in this shit and pushing people to do things that they wouldn't normally do, or framing them saying that they're going to do things that they never fucking did, just to get cases, just to make more right-wing extremist fucking propaganda that you know what I mean? Like, oh, everybody that doesn't agree with the government is a fucking right-wing extremist, Nazi, bigot, misogynist, transphobe. Like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of it. And if you're getting dragged through the mud by federal agents, you need to name them, and you need to put them on blast, and we need to stop giving them quarter, because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And their bosses need to be named, and their boss's boss, all the way up to the fucking president. There goes the YouTube. That's why we're not YouTube streaming tonight.
Right.
It's just crazy to me, dude. I don't know how they get away with this shit.
And then I kind of, like, you're huge, like, fighting back is important, but also creating community and lifting each other up, I think, is huge. So yeah, I don't know, like, how has landing back on your feet been going?
I mean, honestly, not very well. Like, I have a relationship with, some family members, right? But, being a grown man, it's like not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And I have like support and stuff, but I'm getting a little bit of donations here and there, but it's kind of coming down. Like I need certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like to live and stuff like that. So it's just really about just finding work. Like at this point, I really don't care what it is. I need to get something coming in and get out of where I'm at.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty rough. I mean, my car's kind of ghetto, bro, because the FBI just totally fucked it up and destroyed it. So I got to get a new vehicle. I got to pretty much build everything up on my own by myself. I got somewhere to go to do all that, but it's not like, anyone's like, oh, here, bro, like I got this old car, you want it? Or, hey, I got this job here. Like I got to do all that stuff. And I've been having to spend a lot of money on my car because it's ghetto, right? So if I got a brake booster or a brake line that's fucked up, I got to go hustle up some money, pull that bitch in the garage, take that shit apart, put it all back together on my own. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, little things like that. And look, ain't nothing going to take me out. I'm going to be sticking on this planet. You're going to have to do a lot more than this to take me out. You know what I mean? So, but it's just been rough since I've been out. I've been out for about 5 months, trying to find work and trying to find stuff like that. And so far I hadn't really gotten where I wanted to be, but it's a work in progress. Things are moving forward.
Sure. Well, that's something else that we need to talk about. I mean, in the freedom community, there's a lot of business owners. There's a lot of people that are anti-state that get screwed by the state through their businesses, and they should be hiring people like this. You know what I mean? You're probably, I don't know if you're comfortable saying where you're at right now, but there's probably people that listen to you, to the show that live there. I know there is actually.
At the very least, like if you said you were making good money before, I assume you have some sort of specialized skills. So let's sell yourself to business owners in the audience, and anybody that might have friends that own businesses. Let's help pick Brandon back up off of his
before
feet.
we go too far into this, you also, when you do win your state, ultimately you win your case against the state and you get several $1 million. Then you get the bomb car and you drive down to Iowa or up to Iowa and you come on the show in person. Then we won't lose the stream. But no, dude, yeah, I agree. And I know people where you're at that probably would be willing to help you out. But I mean, are you at a point now where you're like kind of fucking like having to hide out and like not tell people who you are and shit like that? I mean, is that what you're kind of doing, dude?
I mean, I've been kind of doing that for a little while. I'm thinking it might be okay to kind of disclose kind of where I'm at. I really wanted to lay low because there are some crazy leftists out there that, dude, I've had people message me telling me they want to kill me and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I carry wherever I go. I'm never disarmed. So I'm not really sweating that.
Heed that warning, leftists. Heed that fucking warning.
Yeah. They'll throw milkshakes at you.
I train, dude, on the regular, so you're not getting past my draw straight up.
Yeah, it was funny. I lived in Portland, Oregon for like 7 years. And in fact, I lived there for several years when I first started running for chairman of the national committee, the party in started in like 2016. Maybe 2017 I started my first run. And every week, dude, they'd be down there fucking protesting in downtown Portland. I mean, that's just like Antifa hub, right? And it got to a point where I'd like drive down the street and they knew my car because I'd always be yelling capitalism will win at them or something stupid just to piss them off. And I had like a Lincoln LS V8 and I'd just fucking rev it up and drive past them and talk shit. They started throwing eggs in my car. They'd like had brought eggs down to their protest just knowing they were going to see me. And so I know, but I lived across the river in Vancouver, Washington, where you can very easily get a concealed carry permit by paying $50 to the local sheriff's office. And they don't come there. You know what I mean? It's a little more country. It's a little different kind of feeling. And it's only right across the bridge from Portland, Oregon. But they don't cross that fucking bridge, dude. And they know better than to cross that bridge. But they knew where I lived. I'm sure they had my address. I had run for local office, public office there. My address was public record. Not once did they come to my house or to that side of the river to fuck around, dude, because they would have found out for sure. You know what I mean? But I mean, have you had any problems in person with people since this shit happened? Has there been any kind of threatening situations since you got out?
No, I wouldn't say necessarily threatening. I mean, where I'm at, I'm in the real rural area of Kentucky.
Sure.
And so folks down here are a little bit more, kind of freedom oriented, care about the Second Amendment, things like that. But I live in a real small town right now, and well, at least I'm staying there temporarily. And one of the ladies down the street, man, freaking, I'm cool with my neighbor. So like my neighbor, he lets me shoot on his property. He lets me train on his property. The dude's got like 100 acres. He lets me do whatever I want on there. You know what I mean? And so I'm going out there doing my thing or whatever. Well, sometimes when they're on vacation, like they have people watch their house, they're rich people.
Mhm.
So they, have someone watch their house. Well, the lady that watches their house, like found out who I was and essentially told them like, yeah, I'm never going to set foot on your property ever again. Like, because of who lives next to you. You know what I mean? It's just
What a
crazy.
sandy fucking vagina, dude.
Right.
Jesus. Well, shit, man, we're getting to the end of this thing. And we did record. We did drop a lot of frames throughout the show, but we got about 58 minutes recorded, so that's good. We'll be able to put this out. If you're hearing this and you didn't get to watch it live, I'm sorry. We'll figure out the thing. Maybe
Before we end things, I do want to give him an opportunity to sell himself.
Well, yeah, we're gonna no.
Yeah,
I want him to plug everything he needs to plug and let people know how they can help out. That's what I want to hear.
Okay.
I don't need to hear this gentleman sell himself. He's already sold me. I mean the fact that the FBI took the time out of their fucking day to frame somebody like this and try to basically hang them in the public court of opinion before walking them into a federal courtroom where they tried to basically they would have tried to take your entire life away from you, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. There's
no doubt that's what was coming. If you took it to trial, they were going to push for a double, triple life sentence for conspiracy and to commit harm and conspiracy to kidnap and all these different conspiracy charges for things that never even happened. They were going to give you life. There's no doubt about it. You were going to get life. You're going to be in prison for the rest of your life if they had convicted you. And the only way out is to have a president that says, that person shouldn't be in jail anymore. And you're not going to get one of those from old Sparky up there in Washington now. That's for sure. And Trump, I think Trump did a few good things while he was in, but he walked out of office a fucking absolute coward because he had the opportunity to give the biggest middle finger to the corporate news media, these jackals that he talked shit about for his entire term by pardoning Julian Assange. And he was weak and walked out and didn't do it. He didn't pardon Ross Ulbricht. He pardoned fucking rappers, dude. And he couldn't pardon Julian Assange, who was the one person who was brave enough to stand up to the media and the corporate fascism between the corporate news media and the federal government. He was the one person that was brave enough to do that. And he couldn't pardon him. That was, for me, it was like, I would never support that guy ever again. He talked all that shit about how the corporate news media is the enemy of the people. And then let the one guy that fought the corporate news media go. So, fuck him. Yeah, man, before we get going from this thing, tell people how they can support you, find you, listen to you, help you out, support you, all those good things.
Yeah, so if you want to donate, I got a Give, Send, Go. It's givesendgo.com/kinetic truth. Raising a little bit of money on there. I do actually make some content as well. I'm on Twitter, at Brandon_Caserta. Same thing as Facebook. But if you want to hit me up I got more content on TikTok and Instagram. I kind of post a lot there, and that's kinetic_truth. So if you want to link up there, talk about freedom, talk about philosophy, talk shit about the state. I mean, that's pretty much what all my material is about. It's about, self-defense, guns. I'm
gonna find you. I'm gonna find you on TikTok, homie. I'm with the kids there, dude. That's how I roll. I love TikTok.
Yeah,
I've never touched the thing,
bro. There's a lot of truthers on TikTok, bro. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, damn, bro. There's lots of people on here speaking that real shit.
Yeah, and China owns TikTok, so they're not gonna take you down for being a truther on TikTok. I love that shit, dude.
Yeah,
because China doesn't give a fuck. They want America to fall apart.
Yeah, true.
And so they let anything on that platform, dude. It's great. It's really great. I fucking love it. Brian, you got anything else?
I do not.
Of course not, dude. He spent the whole time looking at his phone anyways. He don't give a shit.
My phone hasn't been on for like 30 minutes.
The Vikings game isn't even on today, dude.
I pull up the stream and pay attention to the chat.
Well, Brandon, hey man, I appreciate you. I feel your plight, dude. I wanted to give you the opportunity to come on the show and tell people about it. I'm sorry that the stream sucked, but we will get the version uploaded after either tonight or tomorrow. I have one more day of baby leave, and then the weekend, and then I go back to work. So I got plenty of time to get all that shit uploaded. Man, I really I appreciate you, and I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm sorry you had to fucking spend 19 months in a federal prison for no reason whatsoever. And I hope that someone out there helps you, man, fight this fucking shit and name those people by name and pictures. I don't give a shit. These people have addresses, dog. You know what I mean? They need to be dragged through the mud publicly. I'm not saying incite violence. I know YouTube has a policy against that outside of Minecraft, but it's something that needs to be done. They want to make an example out of you. You should make an example out of them by fighting back through their same proper channels, litigation, civil suit, whatever the fuck it is. Get your money on, because the government owes you money for taking 19 months of your life away. They owe you time. They owe you all this shit. And they're not going to give it to you unless you go fight for it. So if there's someone out there that wants to help Brandon, please do. Please support him. Get this guy elevated. If there's another show he can go on, Clint from Liberty Lockdown, you're watching this. Dave Smith. I know Dave Smith watches every one of my shows. So why don't you go get this man on your show? You got a much bigger platform than me. He needs to be out there, man.
I fuck with both of them guys.
Yeah.
I fuck with both of them. I've been watching those dudes a lot lately.
They're the homies, dude. They're my homies. Dave Smith's my uglier younger brother.
Wait, isn't he older than you?
No, Dave Smith is just a few months younger than me.
Oh,
actually. Yeah, he'll be 40. I want to say he'll be 40 in the summer, and I'll be 40 in March. So we're very, very close, and we also both just had babies. Mm-hmm. So we're old men having babies, whatever, dude. But anyways, I appreciate you, man, coming on really and taking the time with us, and reach out to me. I'll get you hooked up with some shows that probably have bigger platforms than mine.
Quick question.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
If you could pick any job you could have to land back on your feet, what would that be?
I would say working in a gun shop, man, selling guns.
All right. Any gun store owners?
There's a few of those in the free
yeah
market, in the freedom.
Send an application his way.
Or building guns, making little receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Phoenix Ammo, where you at? Hook
Yeah.
this brother up, man. That's the place,
I got
dude.
CNC machinist experience, bro. I'm a machinist. I know how to cut steel. I know how to gauge parts. I know how to measure shit. I know how to do all that stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Phoenix Arms, dude. That's the place.
Let's get this man a job.
I like it, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, man. We'll get with you soon.
Thanks, brother, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. You too, man. All right, guys. Another awesome episode of Break the Cycle. Please go support that man. He needs your support. I promise you. We can't leave people that go through this experience hanging out to dry as such a small movement that we are. We need those voices to kind of highlight to the normies, like what goes on behind their closed eyes, because that's really what it is. You know, the people want to spend a bunch of time acting like this kind of shit doesn't happen, and it does fucking happen to real people, tangible people that you can talk to on Twitter, that you can talk to on TikTok. This has happened to people, man. It really does happen. I mean, you know, this goes further than a honeypot. This was a straight up frame job on a group that they thought they could drop things on, and the court of public opinion would just, fucking crucify them before they ever even made it to the courtroom. And that's terrible. That's shit that we need to strike down. That's the kind of shit that has created the society that you see us living in today, and we need to do something about it. And the best way to do that is to support the voices that have gone through that shit. Because I haven't gone through that yet. I mean, I go through it, you know, in social media land. Yeah. I've had my jobs called and stuff for saying that I would repeal the 19th Amendment. Oh, no.
You would repeal all of them.
I would repeal all the amendments. I take a very Lysander Spooner approach to the USS Constellation. I almost said the ship that I served on in the Navy. The U.S. Constitution, which in my opinion is not just, it's never been a paper since at least 1776 that was actually created to help keep the government in check. It's really there to convince you that the government has the authority to govern you. That's how I look at it. And I'm done. fucking start fighting back. And the way to do that is to support voices like Brandon's, and work on causes for people like Julian Assange and Ross Ulbricht and these people who stood up to the fascist state of the U.S. and said they wouldn't back down no matter how much of their life they took away. And we need to support those people. So please do. Ryan, you got anything else?
I do not.
All right, before we go, of course, we got to talk about some sponsors. TopLobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you get this great Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt that you see me wearing tonight by using BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. Or you can join the Patreon Subscribe Star. Both of those are the website plus / Break the Cycle JS. Support us there if you can. You get all kinds of cool swag. You get all the members only shows, tons of those. And you get into a private Discord server where you can get all of Top's new gear up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at like a 30% discount. Awesome stuff. Of course, new executive producer of the show, AnthemPlanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you own a business, go check them out today. I keep fucking with these logos. I'm not doing good today. I'm down bad, man. I'm mad. Got me fired up today, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's fucked up. Mm-hmm. I don't like it.
Yeah,
they brought the gangster out in me today, dude.
I don't think you know what down bad means.
Oh, down bad, dude. And I'm bringing the Oakland back out of me. You know what I mean? I was about to start dropping N-bombs on my show. No, I'm dead serious, dude. It's the shit pisses me off. Go check out, of course, our new executive producer, Colwell Creative Content. They specialize in things like SEO to help you site rank well on Google or other search engines, website design, optimize website content writing, optimize blog posts, copywriting, social media content management, newsletter writing and design, ghostwriting and editing services, resume and cover letter writing. They work with all kinds of clients, real estate, addiction treatment, mental health, healthcare, banking and payment processing, except for the Fed. I know for a fact they wouldn't work with the fucking Federal Reserve, dude. Fuck those people.
Or they could and just fuck with them. That would be great.
They've worked with just about every industry except for the Federal Reserve, even libertarian political candidates and influencers such as Larry Sharp, my good friend and mentor, who mentored me in politics. A lot
Larry
of people don't
Sharp
know that.
is just incredible.
They've been in business since 2012, and they've worked with hundreds of clients. So go check them out today. Help them help you get in front of your target audience. I promise you will not be disappointed. What do we got coming up, dude? What's the next show?
Monday?
I know. Well, Monday and Thursday every week.
Yeah.
I know that. But I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Let me see my calendar. I got a new motorcycle today, so I haven't been paying attention. I've been route riding. Let's see. So today, October, Brandon today. My buddy Samuel Whipplinger from Albert Lee, Minnesota is going to drive down and be on the show. And he's fucking awesome, dude. He's a cool guy. I think he's also done some adoption stuff and homeschooling, and him and his wife are really cool. So that'll be a fun anarchisty show. I'm very excited about that. Ryan, nobody dropped yep cocks in the chat for you tonight, man. I apologize.
It'll happen Monday.
I'm sure it will. I love you guys to death. I'll see you on Monday at 7:30 p.m. Corn time for our show with Samuel Whipplinger. But until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. But Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse. In Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Nothing I mean, you know it. No product finished cause it closed from COVID.